We just want to do a quick intro here. We have a special guest on today's episode of Yelling at Sports. Unfortunately, Tanner is not with us. He's still alive. But
Yeah.
he's just sick.
You saw the injury report that we put out last night, the active inactives.
Yep.
You saw that last night, Wednesday night. And Tanner's out. He's basically Sam Darnold.
Out indefinitely.
Just a GIF. Out indefinitely mono, except he has
The
if
flu.
you listened last week, he was dealing with a cold. That cold has developed into, I guess you'd call it flu-like symptoms.
Yeah.
Without knowing, I don't know a ton. He just, doesn't seem like he's feeling great. So he'll be out this week, but we do have a special guest this week. Should I go ahead and send him a link?
Yeah, send him the link. This week we have Matt King, or Yap Matt, on TikTok and Twitter. If you've heard us talk about him before, big Ravens fan. So we'll see how that goes with me and him. I'm really tired today, so I don't know how much fight I have. But yeah,
Dang,
excited for
that's deep.
Excited for Matt to join us.
It's gonna be fun. We've been Matt for a long time, so
he's been doing content for a while too. So maybe we'll get some tips and tricks from him.
Yeah, we'll ask him some questions too, so you guys, anyone that's listening that doesn't know him, can get to know him and get to know all that is Matt King.
Yeah,
that's gonna be fun.
He asked me for like a rundown of topics of what we were gonna do, and I told him that we'll talk
football.
Football. I told him we'll do like a brief recap of this past week's games, like 1 to 2 minutes on each, not really go too crazy in depth. And then we'll do the same thing for the next week's games. Maybe we'll talk some NBA.
He's gonna be so much more prepared than we are. Just absolutely embarrass us.
He is. He is for sure.
He's gonna make us get our act together. It's probably good. It's probably
I told him
thing.
I told him that we were probably gonna do more, like, carve out a little bit more time for like Bills, Chiefs, and Steelers, Ravens.
We need to do a better job this week
of
of not spending too much time on last week's games.
Yes.
So we'll brush over those.
Yeah.
If it's a huge game, it'll stand out. Yeah. Like maybe we'll give Matt a second to yap about the Ravens. It's actually very funny that he goes by Yap Matt.
Yeah.
And we are yelling at pigeons, which the acronym is YAP.
Yeah.
You might have, as we introduced him just now, you might have connected those dots. Totally ironic.
Totally
crazy. Actually crazy.
Yeah, I think we noticed it after we had already decided our name.
Yeah, and we're like, with the intention. Yeah, the acronym was intentional. And we're like, oh, okay. I guess we just have the same, similar name as Matt. So
Yeah.
I was excited to have Tanner on. That's my guy.
Yeah. He could have had his flu game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like he's going through it, so I won't hold it against him.
Hopefully he
but
feels
like
better.
I said, people are saying, not me. I overheard it in the grocery store. People are saying he's ducking you. So I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. Me and Tanner have had some good back and forth, so
yeah,
they've been generational.
I saw some Twitter interactions this week.
Yeah. Some good ones there.
Anyway, thanks for coming on. First of all, dunking on us with the way clearer camera than both of us. That's awesome.
To be fair, my job that I do, they actually provided me this stuff because my camera was so bad. So shout out to them. So
awesome. Caleb's job provided him with the camera, but not like yours.
Oh no,
you borrowed that one, right?
I did borrow the one, but now I have the Temu camera.
Temu.
Nice.
Temu's so reliable. Actually,
we're going to be sponsored
from there.
Temu. I wish I could say the same.
Most of their stuff comes from Temu.
But we're excited to have you on, Matt. I was just telling Caleb you're probably going to come in here and make us get our act together because you're going to be way more prepared than both of us. So that'll be nice.
I'm not fully prepared. I just got done watching actually the Steelers and Commanders tape. So
So you're way more prepared than we are.
Watch the game.
Yeah. But yeah, we wanted to, for our listeners that don't know you, we only have like 5, but a couple of them probably don't know you. So we wanted to ask you a couple questions just about, how you got into the content game. Was that something you always had an interest in, or was there kind of like a light bulb moment where you're like, this is something I want to do? Because I've noticed how hard you've been working at it recently. I know you've done it for a long time, but it seems like you've kind of gone even harder recently, and you've gained a little bit more of a following, which is cool to see.
Yeah. So last year, me and my best friend, who was my roommate, Jake, we started a podcast, and obviously you guys have probably made it further than we did. You know how much time and effort that takes. But he's an accountant. So he couldn't, when the busy season came, which is around January, football season was done. Everything was just, too busy to keep it going. So we stopped, but I loved TikTok, and I just loved like being able to learn how to edit videos and stuff. And I was like, well, he's busy, but who's to say I can't like grow my account? And then maybe we pick up the podcast after, which never happened, unfortunately, but he's super busy, so can't blame him for that.
Yeah.
And now I actually work, I don't know if you guys know this guy named Tyler Webb, who's on TikTok. But he is my boss and the owner of Uncle Charlie, who I work for. And he's helped me along the way. And then when I started to figure out like how TikTok works and, starting to find my niche and what actually works, it just like, you get a little bit of addicted to it. So that's basically how that all started in the past year.
Yeah, that's cool. And how long, because like I said, I've noticed this is something you've been kind of going at for a long time, aside from this past year being more aggressive with it.
Right.
How long have you been kind of tinkering with the content game? Because I don't know that I could pinpoint exactly when.
Yeah,
it feels like it's been a long time.
Yeah, probably freshman year of college when I studied sports broadcasting, and we had to do a podcast for my sports broadcasting class. And ever since then, I've kind of, I've done podcasts with Frack. I've just kept doing podcasts.
Never forget the Matt and Frack show.
Yeah,
Take it to the bank
show. Yeah, take it to the bank.
Show, formerly known as Take It to the Bank.
And I was just like, like podcasts are hard, as you guys know, just because you have to be on the same page as somebody else, and life gets very difficult, especially if you do different things in life.
People don't realize that.
Yeah, it is difficult for anybody who says making videos is easy. It's not, especially with the second person.
It's not.
People get sick, like Tanner, So
exactly.
Yeah, so probably since freshman year of college, I've really been interested in it. But now that the creator economy, there's actually, a job for it. Like people live off of it now. I started going more aggressively, and I think it's only going to grow. So
that's awesome. We love to see that. I did see recently on your Twitter, I think it was, you were complaining that TikTok won't let you join the creator program.
Oh God!
We just want to say, Yelling at Pigeons stands with.
I appreciate that.
It's ridiculous that they won't.
I've been in a long battle for 2 months. What's so ridiculous about TikTok is if you go on there, you can see like people making edits of like football teams and stuff, like actual copyrighted stuff, and they get paid. And I'm like, oh my God, like you guys are paying the wrong people.
And then someone like you making original content, grinding, just denied over and over.
Yeah, I'm glad Yelling at Pigeons stands with me though. It's been a long battle. Hopefully we get there
always
someday.
We stand with you, Matt.
Appreciate that.
What has been the most like fun part of making content? This is kind of a 2-part question because I have another part after it. But
I would say just like being able to. I would say just expressing myself, like having my own like platform is really nice. Like also growing a community. Like I know that sounds cliche, but I do TikTok lives. I've done YouTube lives. Like being able to meet so many great people like through the app has probably been my favorite thing. Like I'm going to Pittsburgh this weekend for the game, and there's so many people that I can reach out to and just like, make content with or, get to know. And also traveling now, I have a deal with TickPick, and they hooked me up with tickets for this weekend to go. So it's just been a whirlwind. Like there's so many cool things about it. When you start to see it come through, it's hard at first. You guys know it's difficult at first, but it is worth it. I will tell anybody who is trying, please do not give up, because I was just in everybody else's situation. I'm not even big yet. So it grows. You just have to keep
you
trying.
have to start somewhere.
Yeah,
Have to start
exactly.
somewhere. I didn't know about the tick pick thing. I'm very jealous of that. I like, no joke. This is just a free plug. I love tick pick. Like,
I love their
my number one
platform.
goal when we started this, you start doing something like this, you're like, oh, maybe someday we'll be sponsored by this person, that person. Like, my number one was like, man, if we ever get sponsored by Tick Pick, we made it.
Tick Pick is the
I
go.
love
Like,
Tick
I've been
Pick.
using them. I've been using them for years. Like, not the Caleb leaf.
It's fine. We don't need
Is
him.
he fine? Yeah, fine. I was using Tick Pick for like 2 or 3 years, and my boss is connected with them, and he connected me with them, so it was awesome. Like, they are so great. Like, no plug, no, like, not trying to make money.
Yeah.
But
people are gonna think it's
awesome.
an ad, but like, they literally are the best.
They are. They're the cheapest, and they charge no fees. Like, for anything. They're changing the game. We needed
You know what's funny
like
is people who just don't understand math, they'll be like, oh, they have no fees, but their prices are more by the difference of fees, so they're just ripping you off. And they don't actually look. If you actually look and compare the final bottom line, Tick Pick, will I say always is cheaper? No, but 99% of the time. Like, almost always cheaper. Yes. I think I've ordered elsewhere once since I discovered Tick Pick, and that's been like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, me too. I've only used like SeatGeek or Tick Pick, but now I obviously exclusively use Tick Pick. So but they're awesome, man.
They're the best. Caleb's, I don't know what's going on with Caleb. He's just in and out of here.
Jumping in and out.
Oh man. But we can get into some scores from last week's games while we're waiting for Caleb to get back.
Sure.
Normally, so a couple things I want to point out here. One, normally we take way too long on this because by the time this comes out, it's Thursday, right? So people don't really need to hear about last week's games. But I'd like to brush over them, some of the bigger games maybe. And another thing, you don't have to do this, but if something stands out to you, because as you know, we are, like we said, still in the beginning part.
Yeah.
If there's a part that stands out and you're like, that is a clip, I don't mind letting the listeners behind the curtain and have you direct a clip for us. Like, hey, do that again, and this is how you should do it, and we're gonna cool. What do you call it? Engagement farm, but not. I'm not saying. I'm not saying I'm gonna make an outlandish claim that I don't believe. But if you catch something that you think could be a clip, don't be afraid to say, hey, let's run that back and make a clip out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, so. I think that would be cool.
So if anything stands out.
Caleb,
what do you got going on, man?
My camera's bugging. So I don't know if it's gonna work today.
Really, the Temu camera?
Well, I think it worked out when we were in person. It worked fine, but I think it's just my computer's almost 10 years old. So
that probably doesn't help.
It's not helping.
Real life problems, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna just have to go no video for me this week, unfortunately.
Okay, KTF phone picture for you it is.
There it is.
Okay, well, like I said, we're going to brush over some of these. Caleb, I don't know if you caught me telling Matt that if he sees anything that he thinks is clippable, we're just going to break the fourth wall, and he's just going to be like, let's run that back and make a clip out of it.
Great.
So, all right. But, Matt, speaking of that, I wanted to let you give your takes on the Bengals-Ravens game. This is one of the games that stands out. I know we're going to brush over most of them, but usually the teams, our teams, we touch on it a little bit deeper.
Yeah. So I was there. It was the craziest game of the year, which is crazy because the first time they played each other was the game of the year. Really, I want to shout out, and I went back and watched the game, as Joe Burrow, because he is playing on an elite level. Like, I don't think people are talking about it because of their record, but it is not his fault. And it kind of makes me, I hate Cincinnati, but at the same time, I feel bad for him because that offense is a Super Bowl winning offense. And it just stinks, man. I feel so bad.
No, I agree. I was just saying during Sunday night's game, we were having a conversation about QBs. And it was like, Joe Burrow, he won't win it because, the voters wins our QB stat for them. I don't think they should be. But he's playing MVP football right now. Yeah. He's playing at an unbelievable level. And I understand, I'm not making the case for him to win it, but I understand if there's any Bengals fans out there that are mad that
make the case.
his name's not being thrown around.
Yeah.
I understand it, because if you're just looking purely at numbers, he is playing out of his mind.
Yeah. And Jamar Chase, man, the fact that
Yeah.
I think what really stood out to me about that game is the Bengals not signing Jamar Chase earlier. Because I know
Yeah.
everybody's like, he's got one more year on this contract, but they could have gotten him cheaper, and they didn't. And I think part of the issue with the Bengals is ownership, and I think the fan base would definitely side with me on that. So, yeah, I mean, Baltimore's defense is really bad. I'll be the first to tell you. But the offense is just, I mean, one of the best offenses we've probably ever seen in the last decade. So it's been a lot of fun. Just the defense is killer.
What is it with, I ask this question respectfully, what is it with Baltimore and their inability to even remotely slow down Jamar Chase?
Yeah, it's every time. It's not even like
it's
when
unreal.
They have good defenses, he still does it. I think part of it is just Jamar Chase seeing Baltimore's defense every single year. I think that really does help in offense when you see a defense twice a year and you go against the same guys, you know their tendencies, and Jamar is just a special talent. So either way, I think part of the issue of what Baltimore's going through right now is first of all, Roquan Smith isn't playing up to $100 million contract worthy. And two, the reason why Jamar Chase went off is because, you know, like that wide open pass right after the Ravens finally took a lead, first play after they took the lead. It's like plays like that have been broken because of Zach Orr. I think his communication hasn't been very well. Brand new defensive coordinator. Marcus Williams has had problems in-house with the Ravens. They benched him 1 week and now he's back. I don't necessarily blame Marcus Williams for all the problems, but I think just the defense in general doesn't feel like a unit. And, you know, they're just not playing together right now. The only good person that's playing is Marlon Humphrey, surprisingly. So, yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, and from a defensive unit that last year, I would make the case they're like a top 3 defense we've seen in the last 20 years. It was so good last year.
If you put the Ravens offense this year with the Ravens defense last year, they're the greatest football team of all time. And I will stand by
honestly,
that.
You're probably right.
They would be a hard team to beat.
Yeah, they would be almost impossible. But I don't know what they do, man. I thought they make a trade at the deadline, but they didn't do anything. So
speaking of their offense last year, or their defense last year combined with this year's offense, if only there was some random guy right in the state of Maryland that's not even a Ravens fan that was basically begging them to trade for Derrick Henry last year because it made too much sense.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have had it.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have had it.
Maybe. They tried. What's funny is they actually tried to trade. They had a deal in place.
I believe that. I heard him on Bussin' with the Boys saying there was a team that he thought, he wouldn't say who. This was in this offseason. He's like, there was a team that tried to trade for me. And he was like, there was a moment where I thought it was essentially done. Yeah. And watching it the whole time, I was like, that's Baltimore. It has to be Baltimore.
It was actually sources, like Pat McAfee says, some guys in Ravens Twitter who are very in touch with the Ravens and who have broken news before said that ownership actually declined the deal because they didn't want Derrick Henry to go to an AFC contender. They wanted him to finish the season in Tennessee.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. And they ended up
it was inevitable anyway.
Yeah.
And now you get nothing for him.
Yeah,
that would have been.
Oh, that's crazy. That's honestly doing him a disservice because they were not good last year.
Yeah, I think they had a real chance if they got Henry to maybe the AFC Championship's different. Who knows? But I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll never know.
But that Ravens offense is scary. Like we'll talk about it later, but
Hall of Fame backfield, one of the best backfields we've ever seen.
Yeah,
with Lamar and
I'm very worried about the Ravens this year.
Breezing through some of these games. Giants Panthers. Good to see Bryce Young getting a couple wins under his belt.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants are so bad. Daniel Jones is so bad.
So bad.
But overtime game. That was pretty crazy.
I almost wore my Drew Lock jersey today.
That would have been really funny because that would
have been really cool.
we need
I didn't feel like getting it out, or I would have.
Because Daniel Jones just isn't it.
Yeah, very, very bad. Niners, Bucks. McCaffrey's back. He looked good. He looked healthy. They missed a bunch of field goals, which caused some trouble with Debo and the long snapper.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was insane. You don't see that.
The craziest thing I've ever seen.
Going after the long snapper, not the kicker, is
there a reason for that?
The kicker doing that. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gone back and looked. Like, I don't know if the snaps were bad and that's why the kicks were bad, or maybe Debo was just talking bad about who's their kicker, Moody, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jake Moody.
Maybe he was just
coming
complaining
off
about
of
Moody
injury.
and maybe the long snapper tried to defend him. I don't know, but either way, that was pretty.
It was
crazy
Jake
scenes
Moody's
out there.
first game back from injury, I think, which
Yeah.
is like
Yeah,
wild.
that's
Like, give him a break,
Yeah,
man.
give him
Yeah.
some time.
Broncos Chiefs. Bo Nix might be good at football.
He
I don't
Bo
want to
Nix
admit it yet.
hater. So
Yes.
yes,
Let's
3 of us.
go.
I'm a Bo Nix.
Oh, I wish
I'm
Tanner
not,
was on. We would have had 3v1.
I'm not a Bo Nix believer because I've watched. I did a film review on him actually. I just don't think. I think his like ceiling for me is a competent. I hate saying system quarterback, but if he has to escape the pocket, if he has to make plays on his own, it's not going to happen. He can't throw on the run. He can't read the defense when things break down. I'm way off on Bo Nix.
Yeah, I felt very similar. Him coming out of Oregon, I was like, I don't think he's special, but if everything goes perfect scenario,
he's a good quarterback.
You can win with him.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't think he's special.
I don't think he should be a Super Bowl caliber quarterback ever.
Yeah, he'll probably make some playoff games. Like, I don't doubt that, but he will never win a Super Bowl.
They're going to be a very strong running back.
Yeah, like,
and a really good defense.
I compared him to, not necessarily in the way that they play, but just in how I believe in them, is J.J. McCarthy. I think the same thing. I think he's an accurate passer. I don't think he's special. But in the right scenario, which may be Minnesota, we've seen Darnold play really well, you can win games with him. Like,
I agree.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm not going to jump up and down about it.
Right.
So, yeah, Chiefs skimmed by with a blocked field goal. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Falcons Saints, new coach bump, I guess. I was surprised by this, but I should have factored in the Rizzler taking over the helm.
The Rizzler.
They get the dub.
Yeah, I didn't really catch much of this game, but I was shocked that the Falcons lost to the Saints because they just seemed like a better put together team.
Yeah,
I fully believe in the when you fire a head coach, you do get a boost from except for the Jets, obviously. But
unless
you do get a boost from
certain guys that you can get that read on them whether or not they're a boost guy. Like,
yeah, exactly.
New coach bump guy, and the Rizzler definitely was a new coach bump guy.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Bills Colts. Josh Allen threw what I felt were his first 2 genuine his fault interceptions. Not his best game, but we get by anyway. Double-digit win, and the Colts scored with like 2 seconds left to make the score look closer. So I'll take that. A game. Go ahead.
I want to say one thing. If for anybody listening to this, I want Bills and Ravens fans to stop arguing about Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen every week.
Yes.
It's
the handshake meme. Why are we doing this? We have 2
so
players that are
annoying.
so good, and we're wasting our time arguing about them.
They're also
both
very different
MVPs.
players.
Yeah.
Josh has played his ass off this year. He is playing at the best football he's ever played in his career.
Yeah, honestly, if we had done this a week ago, I think there would have been discourse about which one should get MVP. But there's 2 main reasons we won't. It's because, one, there was a shift this week in particular where Lamar had an amazing game. Josh had not his best game of the year. And 2, it kind of goes in line with what you just said. Like, why are we even doing this? They're both so good.
So I love watching Josh.
Yeah,
Like
Lamar's awesome.
Yeah, I don't get it. They're just wasting. It's like the same thing with Brady and Manning. You're doing the same thing. Like, you're enjoying one but not the other. So whatever, they'll regret it later on.
Yep.
So
I guess my biggest thing with Josh and MVP is I just want him to get at least one before he hangs it up someday, because I don't want it to end up being like a Drew Brees scenario where he hangs it up and they're like, man, he never did get one, did he? That's a shame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't care if he doesn't need to get 5 of them like Peyton Manning. I just would like to see him get one.
It just sucks that he's on the same. It just sucks that him and Lamar are playing at the same time. Same as
canceling
Mahomes.
each other out. And
Like, if Mahomes wasn't playing right now, like, Lamar and Josh would probably be in the Super Bowl by now. They would be 100%.
Oh, certainly.
And Joe Burrow would be in more MVP conversations as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes has directly stopped. Mahomes has directly stopped both of them in the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
On separate occasions. So it's basically Jordan beating up on like some of these really good teams back in the day that normally would have been whether it's a dynasty or at least getting something and got nothing because Jordan was just different.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
Yeah, maybe we'll get him one of these times.
Yeah.
Caleb, your Steelers with a big win over the Commanders. Coming into this game, it felt like which one of these teams was going to prove that they are legit, because there was kind of some cases to be made about the schedules, and they haven't played tough opponents. I think I walked away from this game saying they're both really good, and they both showed up for a big game. And obviously, someone has to come out on top, and that was your Steelers.
Yeah, and it was a fun game to watch. I actually got to watch with some Commanders fans and another Steelers fan. So that was fun. It was a little back and forth. Because I really don't know too many Commanders fans. So moving to New York, I found 2 of them, which is crazy.
That's weird.
But yeah, very weird. But yeah, I think the score showed a lot. It was the score made it look a lot closer than it was. That fake punt gave the Commanders the ball in great field position, which was a great play. Like, I think they drew it up perfectly. The gunner was uncovered, and he just dropped the ball, and that's why he is on special teams and goes to tackle the returner. But yeah, I think it was an audible at the line of scrimmage, and it looked really cool, but it just didn't work out.
It was actually an audible. I just posted it on Twitter after watching film. It was, they saw the guy on the outside, the gunner, I guess that's what you call it on the other side. I don't know much about defense, so don't ask me about that. But he came inside, and they actually switched the play. So it was wild. It was great coached. It was perfectly coached. Like, that special teams coordinator for the Steelers is
Danny Smith,
top tier.
Cut from a different
He should
cloth.
be a head coach in the league.
Cut from a different cloth.
Yeah, he's the man. He is a piece of bubblegum's worst nightmare.
Yeah,
for sure.
But yeah, that was a fun game to watch, and seeing Mike Williams catch a game-winning touchdown was awesome.
Yeah,
or leading touchdown.
That was pretty crazy.
The moon ball, love it.
Still got it. That neutral zone infraction was insane.
Yeah,
and literally everyone in the entire world
stadium.
knew.
Everyone
knew it was hard count.
It was
still
bad.
jump. I guess it does. In his defense, I'll play devil's advocate. It does get tough because everyone knows it's a hard count, yet you still need to manage to get a good jump off the ball because they only need a yard to put the game away.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it looks a lot worse when the thing you failed to do was stay still.
And you're the only person that moves.
It sounds easy until you try it yourself, to be fair.
Yeah. But it's still tough.
It was really cool to see how excited everybody on the Steelers was to
Mr. Unlimited. He was hyped.
Yeah, the whole offense was real pumped. So but yeah, I'm excited. This team's starting to make me believe, which is always a bad thing.
That's how I feel.
Hey, that's all we get. At the end of the season, we all just lose to Mahomes. We have to believe in something.
That's
or
fair.
We have nothing else.
We're all playing for second place at this point.
Hey, I'm gonna try to switch over to my computer's camera, so I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. We'll talk Patriots Bears real quick. Patriots Bears. Bears are not good. They fired Shane Waldron today, right? I was at work. I thought I saw something about that. Yep. Okay, so that's probably not that big of a deal. He wasn't doing a good job, but this team has bigger problems than that. Eberflus being the main one. Yeah, they're just not good. The owners need to sell the team. No, they won't, but it's a shame for Bears fans. It's just a disaster. Yeah, also, Drake May, the numbers didn't pop this week, but he continues to impress me.
Yeah,
I really like
Drake impressed
May.
me a lot.
He's a playmaker.
I can't wait to watch his tape. I have that on my schedule for, I think, Thursday. But I just think I feel so bad for Caleb. People are going to shit on Caleb and say how bad he's been, but getting sacked 9 times. They're going to say that his
camera's not working and that he can't get back in the show, and they're going to complain, but we still support Caleb, even though his camera doesn't work.
Facts.
But no, Caleb Williams, obviously. I agree. Yeah. I still think it might sound crazy right now because Jaden Daniels playing so good, but I still think he was the best QB from that class. If Washington had the first pick, they still would have no-brainer took Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
It's just the Bears are a dumpster fire, and they have been for a long time, and it's going to take a lot of change to change that.
Yeah.
So
I also think part of the issue is the coach, number one, but number two is, the players aren't bought in. Like at this point, like the locker room is screwed up because DJ Moore signed a big contract and he doesn't want to be a leader. He's part of the issue. Like if you watch DJ Moore play, he is stunk. Like he's not even trying. Keenan Allen's past his prime. Like I picked the Bears to win their division this year, and I will stand on how bad of a pick that was. But they are way too talented. That's what makes me think this coaching staff, they are too talented defensively. I understand the offensive line, but defensively, this is a great unit. Like they are built to make the playoffs. And
the offense, the line is atrocious, but they have enough that they should be able to get by at least with, like you said, the defense being as good as it is. Because they have weapons. But, I mean, obviously they have to address the O-line and they have to address head coach. Something tells me they won't do a great job hiring a new coach, but
they're cheap. They always go for the cheapest head coach
they don't want someone.
Maybe they'll get lucky.
They don't want someone that's going to come in there.
Ben Johnson's not going there,
but they don't want someone who's going to go in there and like take control. Like they want a palm.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe they'll get lucky. I mean, I compare it to. I always say the Pagulas got really lucky with their first coach hire, which was McDermott, who's obviously turned the Bills around. I read a story when they hired him that they hired him because he had a labeled binder.
That's interesting.
What a great reason to hire! That
sounds like a regular job interview, like at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, that's why you hired him, because
you
you thought his binder was really organized. Like, man, you got so lucky.
Yeah,
they could have hired a complete bozo with a fancy binder, and we would be awful. But we lucked out, I guess. Maybe that'll happen to them.
Another year, another bad Bears team.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Vikings, Jags, gross.
No,
I'm not even doing it.
We can't do that.
Yeah, it was bad.
Titans, Chargers. I don't really know where I stand with the Chargers. I don't really believe in them, but I feel like maybe I should. I don't know. They're well coached for sure. I feel like they're not utilizing Herbert enough, but they don't really have to because they're playing good defense. They run the ball well.
Did y'all see that?
Well, that's Greg Roman.
Yeah.
You know it. You know that, and I know it. Like
I know all too well how
happen.
that eventually ends.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to get up by 14 points and it's over. Like that's all you have to do against Greg Roman. So I'm not a believer in this team yet. I don't care how good they're playing defensively. I've seen the story before. So
and he'll make you believe early too. This guy's innovative.
Especially in the
first
first
year.
year.
The ball.
Did y'all see the clip of Herbert throwing passes to Harbaugh before the game? And Harbaugh dropped one.
Yeah,
and he was
he dropped it.
No, that's on me. That's on me. The ball's coming out nice today. He was just some receiver gloves and was.
I love Jim Harbaugh. I think he's awesome.
Yeah. I love both. I love the whole Harbaugh family. The dad, all of them. They're so good.
They're a cool family.
They are. Eagles, Cowboys. Cowboys suck. I said last week what I think the Cowboys should do. They're still long overdue on firing McCarthy.
Yeah. Big
and
time.
Promoting Al Harris. They did do part of what I said, which was put Trey Lance in. He did really bad. But that was part of the reason I said they should do that. And you can't lose because he either plays great and you're like, this is awesome, or he sucks and it helps your draft pick. Yeah. So he might suck.
Yeah.
That might be the one there.
He could be really bad.
Speaking of might suck, maybe not even might. The Jets, man, 31-6.
Yeah.
31-6 is
It's
rough.
Robert Saleh's fault.
Yeah, it was
still his
fault.
Still his fault.
It was all Saleh's fault.
I wish
because
Taylor
they didn't
was
have a
here
number
so I
one
could
receiver.
get on him about that. He swore that was the entire problem.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
never
I feel like
the
a lot
problem.
of us thought it could be.
I think at this point he would at least somewhat agree.
Yeah, I mean it's Rodgers' fault. I mean it is what it is.
I agree.
And I'm a Rodgers guy. Like I love Aaron Rodgers, and I think that he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But something changed in his personality over the years.
Ayahuasca changed him.
Dude, I read his book. I don't know if you guys have read that book yet, but you guys have to read that book. You learn how crazy of a life he actually has, like how he's distant from his family and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I knew that.
I just
family,
think that
they don't get along.
Yeah, I just think he's not a good leader. He never takes accountability. Always blaming
Totally
Mike
agree.
Williams. Blaming Mike Williams that game.
Totally
I
agree.
forget against who, but it's
It
his
was,
fault, man.
It was against the Bills.
Yeah, it was.
Against the Bills. Rodgers threw the game-losing pick, and he blamed Mike Williams.
Yeah, they ran the wrong route.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he was supposed to cut, and I was like, if he was supposed to do that, it might have even been a worse throw.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
a great throw.
It was
So-
still
Yeah,
underthrown.
and he wasn't even
either
looking.
way.
He
Yeah,
just
I mean,
threw
to
it.
Tanner's credit, like he said last week on here, Rodgers hasn't been good. He hasn't been impressive. So at least he's owning that because he hasn't, and it might be time to hang it up.
Yeah.
Might be time to
Unfortunately,
hang it up.
it will be sad to see him go. To be honest,
Yeah,
but
yeah. The division rival in me would like him to stay,
yeah,
but I feel like everyone has that team in their division they hate the least, and for me, it's the Jets. I kind of feel bad for their
I don't
fans.
have that.
So I don't know if they deserve it.
I don't think I have that
There's
either.
definitely one you
No,
hate.
I don't.
It's not about you hating one the least.
Actually,
It's
I
about
don't-
you
I-
hating two others the most.
Okay, I actually surprisingly Pittsburgh is the least
Well,
on my
I think
list,
it's
which is
more of like
funny.
a respect thing. I think they talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, see?
And I can't
Doesn't
stand
mean you don't-
Cleveland because of
Yep.
Deshaun Watson. I can't stand
Yeah,
Cincinnati
yeah.
because
I was
their
like, can
fans
we-
are
can
so
we agree on
bad.
something
Now
real
we're
quick,
talking.
Matt?
Now we're talking.
I know we never do this, but can we agree that Bengals fans are probably the dumbest fans in our division?
Oh my gosh, the absolute dumbest
Like-
fan base. If you ever go on Twitter and you go on Cincinnati Twitter,
Like
it's
I
the
get annoyed
worst.
by Browns and Ravens fans, but you just like Bengals fans are just idiots.
They're
so
bad.
dumb.
They're really bad. That's why
I've seen some
It's
interactions
not
with
even
them,
Joe
too.
or
Yeah.
they're
With us
bad,
losing them in the
man.
playoffs a couple years ago, they
Oh
can
yeah.
get interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their fans are something else. I would have guessed you guys would have said the Browns though. So that was interesting to me.
Probably the Browns because of Deshaun Watson because they gave a sexual predator $230 million. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
insane.
big
And then their
reason
fans
why.
are just cool with it.
yeah.
Well,
Fair.
now
No,
they're
no,
not.
no,
Now
he's-
that he's
Yeah,
was really
now
bad
that
and
he's
got
bad,
hurt.
now that
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
bad, they want him
when they
to
thought
get
he was
hurt.
going to be good, it
It
was
was
fine. No
great.
big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was innocent. And then as soon as he sucked, they're like, get this guy off my team.
No, it's real.
Yeah,
he did
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's
they're
so
probably
funny.
trying to pull up more cases.
I think that's what I truly believe Andrew Barry is trying to do that so he can save his job. He's probably highly looking to get out of that
Yeah.
contract.
For sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him. I would not blame him at all.
That was a detour. Where are we even
I do
at?
feel bad for the sect of Browns fans that I'm sure didn't like the move when it was made, were not happy about it, have not been happy the whole time because on top of them getting the guy that is a predator, he also sucked,
so bad
and they've
at
just been in
football.
misery for a couple years.
Mhm.
I do feel bad for that sect of.
Yeah, they stood on
Cleveland sports
business
fans. Yeah.
about it. So,
Hey, but the Cavs are 11-0. So
yeah, that's
That
wild.
is crazy. That is crazy.
okay, Sunday Night Football. Me and Caleb watched this game in virtual
we watched
reality.
it in VR.
Yeah.
Really? How
In a
was
virtual-
that?
We watched it in a virtual sports bar with a bunch of little kids.
No, there were some adults.
Wait,
There were
is it
adults.
like is it one of those was it
Yeah, the
that bar
Quest.
that I see on like Twitter and stuff? Like where it's,
I haven't seen it on Twitter, but if you're seeing a virtual reality bar, it's probably that one. Yeah.
and it looks like you're like on the field.
No, it's like you look. It looks like
no.
you're.
No. The crazy thing about that is technically not virtual reality. That's like you actually go there and they serve you food and stuff, but the screen is like
Huge, right?
it like absorbs the
Yeah.
whole building. Yeah, it's crazy.
And they get their own
That
like
is-
camera
yeah,
angle
yeah,
and
it's crazy.
stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
wild.
No,
that is crazy. No, this is just
we were on some quests.
yeah,
Oh,
we're on
so they
MetaQuest.
give you like the
Well,
goggles?
we have them.
No, like we have them,
Yeah,
Oh.
we were-
and like we got online and got in the same server and
watched it.
I
virtual
need to.
sports bar
I
and
would
watched-
love to join you guys for that because I have a quest that I never
Yes.
use.
Dude,
I
Dude,
never use
That's
it.
why you don't use it because you didn't know you could do that.
I did
it's
not
the
know
best
you could
feature
do
on it.
that. Is
We'll
it
link up.
free?
We'll link up. The app
yeah.
is free.
and Luke paid for the sports bar.
Ultimately, you still have to have. Yeah, I bought the sports bar for $10. Ultimately, you still have to have a way to watch the game any other way you would, YouTube TV, whatever it might
Oh
be.
yeah, I have all
Um,
that. So
And yeah, we'll get into how to pull it up because technically they're trying to make you pay $10 a month to be able to pull it up, but there's ways around it. But anyway,
that's
But we
wild.
wouldn't.
but yeah, it's
we
really
paid
cool.
the $10 a month.
Next time
paid
we
the
watch,
$10
I'll
a
get
month.
you on
We
that.
wouldn't.
Yeah,
We
please.
wouldn't go around
I would
that.
love to
Absolutely.
see what that's
Yeah,
like.
we would
I've
never
seen
work
them do
around
it for the NBA, but I didn't know they were doing them for the NFL.
So yeah, the NBA one's like courtside.
Yeah, that's
they have their
cool.
own
Yeah.
camera for it. This is more so like you're in this virtual sports bar, and the TVs in that sports bar have whatever
it's
you want
huge.
on, and we put the game on. and we watch it. And we made the
Hey,
server
cheaper
open.
drinks.
Way cheaper drinks.
Yeah, you can. I was pulling up virtual Dr. Peppers, and chugging them things.
There was
It
also
awesome. Me and Caleb did a Creed
we
halftime
pulled
show.
up the Creed
That was
halftime
sweet.
show during halftime and,
Yeah.
and performed.
Yeah, I'm definitely
These two
in for
dudes were
that.
just
That
dying
sounds
laughing
fun.
at us.
Yeah. Download Big Screen VR on your
Big screen
Quest.
VR.
Big
I
Screen
will.
VR. Yeah.
I will.
That was a tangent.
Yeah, so that was fun. That was yeah, it was. That the only thing about making a public server was we got a lot of kids, which
Oh yeah.
is not ideal. Some of them were cool, like some of them were behaving, which is
A
fine,
lot of them were
but
not.
some of them were just menaces. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them
I
should be
believe it.
listening right now. Shout out Joe Burr. He said he was going to listen.
Oh man.
Anyway, that game, the actual game, was insane. There's a million
many
interceptions. I think,
interceptions.
was that the final number? 1,000,003, I think?
Yeah.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
you got it
yeah.
right on target.
Yeah, unbelievable. It seemed like literally every play. Because it wasn't just golf.
I think there was
Stroud
there
had
was a
two,
point where there
right?
was
Yeah,
3
Stroud
drives
played
with
bad.
back-to-back interceptions. Like,
Is Stroud, yeah, insane. Is Stroud, and I hate to say this because as an Ohio State guy, this pains me, and I hope it's not true. Is he a Nico Collins merchant?
he might be.
Hold on, stop.
People are saying.
Yeah, clip.
Oh,
Do
no.
is
Here we
C-
go.
so
It has
so
to be the
I
one
would
where I'm
say-
talking bad about
so-
Ohio State.
So here's how I would say this. I would say,
Okay.
is CJ Stroud a Nico Collins merchant? That would be like the first part of the clip. That's what I would say.
Okay. Maybe should I pull up some stats of him, like with and without?
No,
Probably would help.
But
No,
it'd be
because I don't know what to say after that.
I
for
can
the
add
kid.
to the stats to the clip.
Well, I have stats on Stroud actually.
Okay,
up.
cool. And then I'll
Um,
just let you cook. I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll cut out the "it pains me" part. This is the
Okay.
breaking the fourth wall behind the curtain for the listeners. All right. 3, 2, 1. I can't take it seriously. Hold on. All right. Because I feel like the guy that's like looking into the camera, like Livy Dunn, rizzed up, baby Gronk. Like-
Oh God.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
If you can't
All
do
right,
it,
all
I
right.
can say it.
No,
Good.
I got it. Okay, hold on. Is CJ Stroud a Nico Collins merchant?
Ooh.
So the thing about CJ is I don't think it's necessarily like people will say that it's his offensive line, which is very true. But one of my favorite stats in the NFL right now, I'm becoming like a stat nerd, is EPA per dropback and EPA, which takes all of that into account when you're looking into statistics. And right now, CJ Stroud is ranked 21st in the NFL in EPA, which is below
Yikes.
Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith, Joe Flacco, Jordan Love. Like he's right next to Drake May and Mason Rudolph. So I think part of the issue is I think that people have gotten more film on Stroud and that offense, and Bobby Slowick hasn't been great either, to be fair. And I think it's just trying to transition into year 2. And they're such a young team. I mean, I just think that I think people overrated them a lot, which I was one of those skeptics about Houston, because when you have such a young team with so much talent, it's also harder to have that leader. And I don't know if CJ Stroud is that yet. He's a great guy, but also at the same time, you have to be playing on a certain level to do that. So I don't know, man. It's been a rough year for him. I don't know if it's Nico Collins being out. I don't know what it is, but he still has Tank Dell. He still has, Shaw. It doesn't matter. He has plenty of weapons, Joe Mixon, all that stuff, and he's still not playing well. So
Yeah, I believe in their receiver room. I think it's really deep, despite the lack of stats for some of them since Nico went down. We did see a good performance from John Metsy finally this week, which is cool to see. I think he had 5 for 74 and a touchdown.
yeah, that was
I know
really
that
cool
because
to
I
see.
started him in fantasy.
Wow.
No, I didn't start him in fantasy. No. I wasn't even done with my sentence. I'm not that
Oh.
sharp. I was going to say I started him in fantasy last week. I didn't. I signed him, and then I bet on him, which is even worse. And he had 0 receptions. So,
Yikes.
But this week he had a good game, which is cool to see. But yeah, I don't think there's enough excuses, or they're using too many excuses, I should say. He has plenty of weapons to get by. Maybe you could even make the case that maybe Bobby Slowick is the Nico Collins merchant. One way or another, their offense is not the same without Nico Collins. And it sounds like you're thinking regardless, it's more of a sophomore slump for Stroud than it is about the injuries.
Yeah, I think, and I hate using that word, but because
Hate or sophomore slump?
sophomore slump.
Okay.
I don't know if I believe in it entirely because we've seen quarterbacks be in their second year and have their best years like that. Like, I think the second year is the year you're supposed to take another jump, but I think with CJ,
that's when Lamar won his MVP. Second year, right?
I think with
Mahomes
CJ
as well, although it was his first year as a starter.
Yeah, with CJ, it's harder because he came into the league like tearing it up, and now our expectations are so high for him. Like, I think that can get to a player. So
yeah, and like you said, teams having more film on them, I think it's reasonable to expect there to be a hurdle to get over.
Yeah.
I do still believe in Stroud. I think he'll get over that hurdle, but I realize I think I put what's the saying? I put my carriage before the horse with the Texans this year. I think I thought they would be a lot better, but being young and inexperienced is really.
But I also think that they're in an awful division. So like, they just need to make it to the playoffs.
Oh, they're still going to be in the playoffs.
Can happen there.
Yeah, they're going to win.
Nobody
for
knows
sure.
what's going to happen when you make the playoffs. So they could get one of those.
Sure.
You can get hot at the right time.
So I still like Stroud. And they played a very good team on Sunday night. And Matt, let's backtrack a little bit. Like, I, of course, know off the top of my head what EPA stands for, but like for our listeners who might not be as smart as the rest of us.
Yeah, for the people that don't.
What does EPA stand for?
So it stands for expected points added. It basically, so this is the definition, which I have right here. It says it represents yards gained in terms of points scored. Passing EPA is the net value added by a quarterback on pass play. So basically, if every time a quarterback throws the ball, how many points does he add to your offense? Like, it basically, I forget the stat in basketball, but there's a stat in basketball that's just like it, or maybe baseball. Oh, it's
war?
baseball.
Yeah.
War. Like war. It's basically like war, but in
Okay.
football. That's why I think it's the most important stat, that or DPOA. But there's so many now that I think are wild, but I go based off of the EPA.
My struggle with EPA is that's what I thought it stood for, but I have a hard time understanding how they quantify it. Not that I'm saying it's I'm saying I just blindly trust it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it works. I
kind of do too.
Yeah.
But I'll take the EPA and then I'll go into film and see if it matches. And usually most of the time, like, you can see like they incorporate like drop passes, like all that. That's why I like it. But yeah.
Sounds like maybe it's like a more quantifiable PFF score. Because I'm not. You don't have anything with PFF, do you?
Is the worst.
No.
Okay, good. Yeah.
PFF sucks.
All my homies hate PFF.
They are so bad, man. They are never accurate. And they watch the games. And they are not accurate.
My biggest gripe with PFF is it's just guys giving out scores, and it's not their fault that the fans do this, but the fans treat it like it's this true and genuine number. Like the PFF rating is a statistical number. It's not. It's literally just if the three of us watched the film and said, this is the yelling at pigeons grade, or this is the yap grade.
It's too opinionated.
We might have to make
There's too much opinion.
It's only
have to make a yap grade.
Or
bias.
bias.
We might need to make a yap grade.
The yap grade.
grade.
But yeah, like, also never forget that I like low-key kind of applied but didn't have two monitors, so I couldn't work for PFF. If they're just going to take me off the streets to work.
I was going to say, Caleb, no disrespect to you, but like they didn't even really. It's not like you were like, hey, I'm like a football coach and I this and that, and they're like, we want you on board. You were just like, hey, I love ball, and they were like, cool, you got two monitors, and you're like, I don't. And they're like, oh, dang. So like it was. That's how easy it is to potentially
been boring. You probably would have sat there and done like data for them or something. It
probably would have made. It might have made you hate
I'm
football.
very happy
because like watching film can be fun, but I think watching film on assignment, on a time frame, and like this is the team you're going to watch. This is what you have to grade, and it has to be turned in by this and that. Could potentially make football not fun.
And you'd have to watch like offensive linemen and stuff. Like, oh my god, no, that's not my forte.
All my homies hate PFF.
Yeah, we hate PFF.
Yeah, same.
It's
Listen,
awful.
credit to them for the ones that work there that are watching the film and coming up with a grade. I just think you're an idiot, but you're a hard
Yeah.
worker.
Yeah. Shout out to you. You're just a freaking idiot.
You're just
Yeah.
dumb.
But-
You're a hard worker. You're just stupid. Oh well.
All right, let's start speeding through some things.
I'll just say the score of Dolphins Rams. I had the Rams in that game.
I had the
Dolphins came
Rams
out and
too.
played well. Good for them.
Yeah, I thought the Rams were going to win that game. I mean, they were starting to get hot, and
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. That Dolphins defense underrated. They have played really well against the pass, and it showed up why the Rams lost. They could not get the ball to Puka or Cooper Kupp the entire game. So,
Do we want to just hit some of the big games this week?
Sure. Yeah, I actually think the Thursday night game is a pretty big game.
It's a huge game.
Commanders, Eagles. These are the two. It's a two-horse race for the division in the NFC East at this point, and it is those two.
Yeah.
So this game, I'm very excited for. Similar to last week, even though it was not a two-horse race. Like it might be, but it's not Cincinnati. But I was very much looking forward to that game, whereas a lot of Thursday night games are kind of trash.
Yeah.
This is the second week where I'm very excited.
I don't get how they started out the season doing a bunch of division games for Thursday night games, and then they went away from it for a second, and then now they're going back. So I think Thursday night should
the vast
be
majority
prime time for divisional games.
Division. Every week should be a divisional matchup, because even if it's two bad teams, it's probably going to be a little more fun because you're going to have that rivalry. It's going to be
that's a good idea.
Weird, The vast majority, to their credit, to Amazon's credit, most of them are division games this year. But not
Thursday night football has been good this year. Monday night football has been awful. I think that's turning into Thursday night football. But
well, that's probably part of the reason. Think about the good games. Most of them have been division matchups. I hope next year they realize that and make all of them division matchups.
I think going into this game, I think this is where the Commanders can bounce back. If they bounce back, they can re-enter that contender conversation. It's not just about how you do when you win games. It's how you answer after you lose a game. So if they
did you just Rocky us and just translate it to football?
I don't know.
It's how you get up.
Yeah.
I don't remember the quote.
But yeah, I think this is going to be a very good game. Two good teams. But I think the Commanders they have to prove to us this week how they answer after getting punched in the mouth. So maybe it was Rocky.
Yeah, exactly. People are jumping off the bandwagon a little bit if they lose this game this week, the Commanders. Not necessarily the fans, but the idea that they're a lot different and they're really good. I don't know if I want to throw the contender word out there, but if they lose this week, they probably aren't winning their division. They still could, but to me it would be very telling. Either way, they're exceeding expectations, so good for them.
Yeah. I think I'm one of those people. I'm kind of against you guys. I think the Eagles are going to cover, and I think they're probably going to win by 7+. But the reason for that is because historically, when teams lose a heartbreaker, usually they lose by an average of 10 points. And a heartbreaker Thursday night on the road in Philly, and usually a road team on Thursday night loses, which I think that's statistically 60% rate, whatever it is. But this Eagles defense, what has really surprised me, the Eagles defense stunk in the first 3 or 4 weeks. And Vic Fangio has found it. This defense is, I think they're top 5 in every statistical advanced category in passing, rushing. Jordan Davis is playing out of his mind. And that front line has just been awesome. I just think that they're the much better football team. I think the Commanders I don't see a way where they're going to be able to stop Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. That defense is so bad. They remind me of, they're like a mini Ravens. I think the Commanders are like a mini Ravens. They have a really efficient offense, but a really bad defense. And I think I think they'll be exposed on Thursday. Hot take.
No.
But I think the Eagles win.
I don't necessarily think that's a hot take.
your logic.
I just think that they have to win. The Commanders have to win. That was what I was trying to say is if they want people to believe in
desperate.
Them. But I
are we going to see
Eagles in this game too?
Are we going to see Marshawn Lattimore in this game? Do we know?
I don't think so. They say he didn't practice today.
Yeah, that's
short week, didn't practice. on
Yeah.
what's today? Tuesday? Yeah,
Yep.
probably not.
Yeah, he's not going to play.
Yeah. All right. Well, that brings up the next the game of the week, Colts Jets.
Yeah, we're not
Psych,
talking
we're
about Colts
about
Jets.
Colts Jets.
If Tanner was here, I would definitely let him cook.
Give
but
me Joe
without
Flacco.
him, yeah.
Oh man,
I want Iguodala. This one, Ravens Steelers. I will not hog the mic on this with a Ravens fan and a Steelers fan.
as
So
as
who
as
wants to
having
go
home field
first?
advantage, I will elect to defer to the Ravens.
That's fair.
Nice.
So Ravens fans aren't gonna like what I have to say about it. I think Pittsburgh is such a good team. Like just watching them, I was skeptical of them too, like how Luke said with the schedule, which is fair. And I said that before. I said if they beat the Commanders and show resilience and show that they can go on the road and be a team over 500, a team that everybody was on, I'd be a believer in them. And what's crazy is being a Ravens fan, being a believer. But I don't think this is a good matchup for Baltimore. The Steelers and Baltimore, it's never a good matchup for Baltimore ever. And I think Mike Tomlin outcoaches John Harbaugh in general when they go against each other in the first place. The Steelers, the one thing I will say that I think works in the Ravens' favor is Alex Highsmith being out, because
We are
to
getting
me, he's
Nick Herbig back though.
right. But Alex Highsmith is playing like on a TJ Watt level. They are playing so
time.
good together. Insane how good he is. And how cheap the Steelers have him at the moment, because he'd be an elite pass rusher, number one anywhere else. So I think that works into the Ravens' favor with their offensive line not playing as great. But just with this Ravens defense not playing well against the pass, Russell Wilson, Arthur Smith, dude, like he has brought offense back to Pittsburgh. He is such a good offensive coordinator, and people aren't going to talk about it because he was bad in Atlanta. But he has been so good. Like his concepts are incredible. Like I think it's just a bad matchup for Baltimore. It's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if either team won. But right now, I'm leaning Pittsburgh win in Pittsburgh at this very moment, which is crazy to say. But after watching them, I have to be honest with myself. I just can't see Baltimore's defense making enough stops like Pittsburgh's defense can. And they play Lamar every year, so they know how to play him. So. Yeah.
Can I throw something crazy out there?
It's
not going to happen, but I want to throw it out there anyway. What if the Steelers call J.J. Watt?
That would be wild.
That would be pretty sick.
That would be crazy.
That would be wild.
Could see him make a little playoff run with Pittsburgh. Maybe. But even if he did, like, what's a couple pieces of paper to undo that?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like every time I go into Steelers-Ravens week, I'm nervous. Like, it's always like I feel like every year you can chalk it up to being a split. Like a team's gonna win.
Well, not recently. It's been a sweep for like the past 8 games.
But I mean, some of them have
wild.
come at the end of the year, last game of the season, when the Ravens don't have starters in, which is fair. But because the Ravens have been dominating the division,
we should never play in week 18 against each other. By the way, and we should be in prime time. Every time.
Yes.
Wait, never in week 18. Why?
Because week 18 it's never been good for Baltimore Steelers. One of them is sitting players every time.
Yeah.
Every single time. Now it could be good if you're going for the division.
You have to see where the thought process is, though. Like that could end up being
which would be a lot of fun.
Game.
But like sometimes it's just like, oh, one of them needs to win to make the playoffs, and the other one is already in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think you could decide the division though in like week 16, 15 through 17.
And then put it to where you can flex that game.
That would be better
into a primetime position. I don't know why this is a 1:00 game. Like this is like before the two primetime games this week, Monday and Sunday, should have been Bills, Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens.
Well, the Steelers play on Thursday. I heard they wanted to flex the Ravens to prime time, but they couldn't because of that, which sucks.
Crazy.
At least 4:00. I love 4:00 games. That's like the sweet spot.
That'd been fun.
Sweet spot.
That's what we have this week.
But like,
I like my 1:00 games. I don't know.
But like I was saying, like it's the Ravens always scare me. The Derrick Henry addition this year is going to be tough to stop. But yeah, I'm excited. Like I'm more excited than anything. I was telling Luke before we started recording that I'm very tired today, so I don't have a lot of fight. And
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna fight you.
like I said,
you know, ever
this
since
is the game where it's going to help me believe even more, which is always scary. And I think
yeah, I agree. Same here. Like, it's just like if you beat Pittsburgh, like I think this is the first time in a long time, like both of these teams are playing at such an elite level at the same time, and it could revive the rivalry because it has been bad past couple of years. There hasn't been like that, Pittsburgh might win at the end of the game, but you have Kenny Pickett,
Mason Rudolph,
it's 17-10, like it's just so I'm really excited for it. I will be there, so that'll be really cool. I love Pittsburgh. And I can't wait to rate the stadium. So we'll see how that goes.
Maybe next time, the next game, we'll get you on again so we can have some blows. But it's hard. The first game is always hard to like compare. They have very similar records. Like they're both winning games. They're both losing games that they should win. And it just doesn't. It's hard. It's hard right now. And
I think it would be the way that I see the Ravens winning this game is if Lamar does Lamar stuff, and
historically,
if it becomes
against
a shootout,
the Steelers, he hasn't been good.
Exactly, but if he's on this game and it becomes a shootout, I think Baltimore wants to win that way. The Steelers want to keep it low scoring. I think that's the way
defense wants to play football. That's been I don't know how.
But if Lamar turns into the MVP, it's really hard to stop him. I think it can go either way.
Thing that's interesting is I agree. I think Baltimore's ideal path to a victory would be a shootout, right? Because they're going to challenge Pittsburgh's offense. Can you keep up? But the best element they can offer is, hey, we have Derrick Henry now. So, and I know that's typically is going to make you score not quite as fast. Although with Derrick Henry, sometimes that's one play, 80 yards. But
was that PTSD for you?
A little bit, yeah, but it's not even just from the Ravens. I feel like he's done that to the Bills several times.
It's so nice having him on your team.
I know this year. I know this year is different. Because you have Lamar and Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry's never ran for over 75 yards on the Steelers.
Well, here's what I was going to say. If I'm not mistaken, both Lamar and Derrick Henry are kind of bottled up by Pittsburgh from a career standpoint. But I think
having both of them is scary.
To me, that says they game plan really well on being able to take out your best player. But what happens when you have
two?
Because you can't put all your resources on one. And I think that's going to be really challenging for the Steelers. Now, granted, if anyone can come up with a solution, it's probably the Steelers because I just have that faith in their defense. We always say it on this show, the defense plays football. They're going to make some weird play that makes no sense or is just super impressive late in the game. But it's just, it's tough, man. Stopping both of them is really tough.
Yeah, I think the other thing too when watching is Joey Porter Jr. I was watching a lot of him. I think he's in for a long game and the reason why I say that is because this past week against Terry McLaurin, he got flagged like 3 times. He's a very physical corner, and against wide receivers who can create separation very well, which is all the Ravens receivers, Deontay Johnson, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, they're the best separators in football on one team. So I think what can play into the Ravens' favor on offense is trying to stop Derrick Henry, but then you open up the pass game. And I think that's what Luke said. How are they going to do? They can stop Lamar now, but can you stop them at the same time? I guess we'll have to see.
We'll just find out.
Yeah. I'd like to know the numbers on this officiating crew. Like, I feel like if I was an official and I'm calling Ravens Steelers like the best rivalry in football, I kind of want to let them play a little bit. Like you talk about Porter being aggressive. I start feeling like this is old school smash mouth football, Caleb's favorite quote. And I kind of want to let him.
I would too.
So I would love maybe to see he will, and maybe he'll get away with that aggression. So
I'm excited.
I don't know. I'm super excited. Someone doesn't have a dog in this fight. I'm always so excited for Ravens Steelers week. It's just.
I am really excited to see what Patrick Queen does. Like I don't know. Like he's been balling like these past couple weeks, and he's going against his old team. And this is what was it? Harbaugh told him that you're not a Raven until you beat the Steelers. And then he never.
Yeah. Well, no. Tomlin. I think Tomlin said you're not a Raven or something. You're not a real Raven.
There was a quote about like him not being a Raven, or you're not being a Raven until you beat the Steelers. And then I feel like this is his chance to come out and be like, well, I'm on the Steelers now. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun game, and I feel like I know it's not a primetime game, but I could see a double Renegade happening in Pittsburgh.
Well, this does feel like
Renegade is
Renegade.
wild.
Yeah,
The Renegade is wild. But yeah, Patrick Queen's been he sucked for like the first 4 or 5 weeks, but he's starting to figure it out, and I think it's very personal for him because Ravens fans were on his ass after he was quote tweeting people. He was tweeting. He's a very I love Queen, but he's very emotional. Like he takes that stuff to heart, which I would too if I was a player. But I think he's gonna have extra motivation this week for sure.
Yeah, I also love his music. Fat Bottom Girls is like one of my favorite songs. Great song.
How do you think of this shit on the fly, dude?
It's a good band. Good music. What's the next game?
Let's go Bills Chiefs.
Yeah, we can jump to Bills Chiefs. Man, how do I even sum up my thoughts on this game? This is a lose-lose scenario for the Bills. Obviously, for their record and maybe for team morale, a win is a win. That's great, right? You beat the Chiefs. But from the public outlook standpoint, I don't think you can win here. You win the game and it's, oh, look at the Bills. They beat them in the regular season. They can never beat them in the postseason. Or you lose and it's like, the Bills still owned by Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. So hopefully we can. I'm more focused on just get another win under our belt, get a win, have the head-to-head against them if it comes down to it for seeding. But man, have I grown to dislike them. So
oh man, me too.
It would be nice. It would be nice to beat them. Can you guys correct me on the? I guess not correct me, but learn me some ball here. How often does CBS?
That was so interesting.
How often does CBS go on site for games? Do they do that in the back half of the year always, or because they're going to be at Highmark Stadium this weekend for their entire pregame show, and I just didn't know that they did that. Yeah,
I didn't even know they did that, or I've never noticed it.
Starting at noon, they'll be in the parking lot. So Bills fans, I'm sure, will be out there bright and early. They'll probably already be completely drunk by the time they even set up. Yeah, I want to say JJ said he's planning on going to a table.
Well, no,
that'll be
please
cool.
Don't let him do that. We need him. Steelers are going to need him.
Yeah, you guys need him healthy for the playoffs. But no, this game, on the surface, Kansas City really hasn't played well. I think we have played better than them. I understand why we're favorites. I wish we weren't because I like being the hungry underdog.
A dog at home is
if I'm taking out all the other elements and the history of this matchup and just looking at this year, my pick would be the Bills. Hopefully that is the case because there's just something. Mahomes is the boogeyman. Like you just can't run from him. He's gonna come get you. So I'm very nervous for this game, but excited.
Yeah, I think it should be a fun game. I think that's a great spot for that game. It'll be a good palate cleanser after me and Matt go to war. For a few
It'd be
hours.
nice to watch another good game against two teams. Yeah, dude, it's gonna be fun. I don't know who to pick. I'm so back and forth because I think I will say one thing, Luke. I have been a Bills believer since day one of this offseason when they hired Joe Brady last year. And I kept telling people, I was like, this offense is perfect. And like it's shown. Josh doesn't turn the ball over. I think the only thing that I'm scared of with Kansas City is one, the Bills don't have Keon Coleman, and are they going to have Amari Cooper? Because that's going to change my mind.
I would like to think we will, but obviously it's Thursday, so we know probably a lot of information about it, but we're not going to tell you guys. So you guys have to look that up yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will change my opinion because I think I don't know if Kansas City can stop the run and then you don't have any weapons on the outside. It's going to be really hard for Buffalo. But
Khalil Shakir like that ever again.
He is
so
awesome,
fun to watch.
but he's not a wide receiver one.
He's a great.
He's
not,
great slot guy.
He's not going to be too much of a problem on the outside. He's amazing in the slot. And when you watch Khalil Shakir, think of on Madden when they have first ones free. He's the definition of first ones free. The first guy almost never gets him. It's actually amazing. But yeah, I definitely don't love the idea of rolling into Chiefs week with Mac Hollins as our top
that's crazy.
outside threat. So
He does great TikToks though.
He does.
He fixes his house.
He showed me how to clean my
I was gonna say
trash
last one I saw
can
was
the
him
other
clean the
day.
trash cans.
Awesome.
I was like, who cleans their outdoor trash can? I was like, it's such a good idea though, because it probably stinks.
So bad.
So
Dude, I saw someone that had this whole company. They have this custom truck with this big apparatus on it that just cleans trash cans. They
That's
pull up,
such a
set
good
it on
idea.
there, and it just like cleans it,
Mac
and steams
Hollins needs
it.
to buy that company.
Bam. He should.
he
Put his face
should.
on it.
Yeah.
He should. Well, hopefully he makes the Chiefs look like a trash can this week. But we'll see.
I hope so too.
I'll try to see what else pops here.
Nothing.
Seahawks Niners. This should be. It's an important game for their division, right? Because they're both in the mix here. The Niners obviously got McCaffrey back last week. They just signed their corner Lenore to that $90 million contract on Tuesday. We saw that. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. Honestly, I just wanted to say that to mix in the contract and see if you guys knew about it.
Yeah, I did. I actually saw it while we were doing this. Big contract. Huge contract.
Yeah. I mean,
here
it is. Here we are, 2 days later, and we're still like, wow, that's a big contract. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're from the future.
Yeah.
Technically.
Doing some time
I do
traveling
think
here.
that game will have a lot to their standings. Everybody's so close in that division. I think a Seahawks win will bring them to 500 and bring the Niners to 500 as well. So I think that division's very wide open because nobody's really playing great.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and that pretty much wraps up kind of the headliners, unless you guys had any games that pop here. A lot of gross games this week.
Yeah, I was looking. It is I'm really glad I'm going to the game this weekend because I'm not going to watch any of these terrible Rams, Patriots, Jacks, Lions.
Saints,
Packers,
Browns.
Bears sounds fun. It would have been fun if they...
Maybe.
I think...
Do they get a new OC bump?
Maybe. It's not the same as a head coach.
It's not. No.
It's not.
Do we know who they promoted? Like, who's going to call plays?
I don't.
No idea. No clue.
I do think, I know we say this every week, but I think Monday night could be a McCarthy fire game.
Every week.
Yeah, I've been calling McCarthy
You
fire
think
game
the
for
Texans,
weeks.
though, that would be the one to, I really don't think they're going to fire him during the year.
No, I think Jerry Jones said today they aren't.
Yeah, I think it's
whole year,
especially without Dak now. He kind of he's going to get fired the Monday after
Black
the season
Monday is
for
gonna
sure.
hit him hard.
Yeah, Black Monday.
That must suck for him. He knows. I know he knows he's going to get fired.
Coaching for a future job.
Yeah, probably. But
I would agree. He's got to get out of there.
Yeah.
But I'm looking up their new coordinator.
Aaron Rodgers.
no, I'm
Thomas
curious.
Brown. Thomas Brown. He was hired by the Bears as their pass game coordinator under Eberflus January of this year. So it hasn't been there real long, but who knows? Yep. He was with the Panthers before that, so yikes.
All right.
Not impressive. He was the Browns running backs coach when they won the Super Bowl. So maybe DeAndre Swift game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, not behind that offensive line.
No shot.
Yeah, also the Rams running game that year wasn't really why they won anyway.
Yeah.
So.
It was their defense and their passing. But yeah, everything else kind of looks pretty mid. I mean, there's probably going to be one of these games that ends up being the game of the week that's not even one that we talked about. But
yeah,
we'll see. Jameis revenge game. Brown Saints. Maybe that's it.
Jameis.
Remember when they said he was going to be the franchise? I saw so many Browns fans saying he could be the franchise guy after they beat Baltimore.
Jameis.
Yeah.
Hey, I love Jameis. I love Jameis.
He's a great.
I hope he is the franchise guy.
He pissed me off so bad that day. I'm a Jameis hater now because he did.
No,
He's
if
so
anyone should have pissed you
corny.
off in that game, it should have been Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, fair, but he is corny.
He is. But
Jameis Winston is so corny.
It works and I think he knows what he's doing.
I think we call Russ corny, but not Jameis.
Because Russ thinks it's cool. That's the difference. I think Jameis knows he's being corny.
I don't think so.
I do think he thinks it's funny, but I don't think he thinks this makes me look really cool right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. That's the vibe.
No, I feel like
I think he sees himself as a motivational
yeah, I think that's
speaker.
yeah. I think
really
he's like
do.
trying to be like he's
Yeah,
trying to be
he probably
motivational. Like I
does.
think he thinks which keep doing it. I love it.
That's true. He definitely thought E to W was
Yeah.
cool.
He didn't do that.
Yeah,
He did
that
not
was
do that for the
bad.
bit.
No.
No.
Well, his fingers got bit. That's about it. Matt, I was going to ask for your lock, but to my understanding, podcasts that have more than just a couple listeners can get in trouble for using that word. So what would be your favorite pick this week? It is Thursday, so you've had plenty of time to look over this.
And Matt, don't you dare do it. Don't.
Could be a prop, could be anything.
I'm taking the
No, I was
Ravens
gonna tell you,
now.
if you pick the Steelers to cover, I swear to God.
Oh my God!
Please
I
do
should
not
do
do
that.
that.
I
Matt?
should do that as like a
Matt?
double. What's the
I think
spread
it's
on that?
3.
What is the spread on Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh's
No,
favored by
Ravens are.
3.
Home
Whoa.
dog.
I actually
Matt's favorite pick of the
I'm
week
not
is
even gonna lie. I
alt
love
line
Pittsburgh
on
already.
Steelers plus 9.5 is Matt's pick. No shot.
No,
No,
Steelers
they don't
plus
cover
20
that.
and a half, actually.
Yeah, no chance they don't cover that.
I think
Easy money.
Okay, yeah.
I think actually
the Steelers, there's no way they don't cover plus 9.5.
or plus 20.
plus.
I mean, they're at
Yeah, no
home.
shot.
Yeah.
Now mine is 20.
Actually, I'm gonna go to Thursday. I think the Eagles cover. I think that I really am a true believer. I've picked them to go to Super Bowl, so a little bias before the
Okay.
year. So, but I think the Eagles are just playing really good ball, playing at home. I think the line is wrong. I think it should be closer to 5 for me, being in Philly after Washington played against Pittsburgh, emotional win. I really like Philly in the spot.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. I like it. I like the logic behind it, and I'm going to take an alt spread on Eagles minus 13.5, and if it loses,
and I'm taking
you owe me money.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers plus 20 and a half
You
now.
keep saying plus 20. That means they can lose by 20. That's it.
Yeah, I know. That's the point. They would
That's
never.
the point. Exactly. It would
There's
never
no chance
happen.
they don't. No
I'll
chance they
put
don't
my
cover
whole
that.
life savings on it. What's
Yeah,
it
no
like?
chance they don't
Minus
cover.
16,000 or
Give
something?
me Steelers minus 20.
Then neither of us, one of us has to win at that point. So,
Oh man.
Just evens
Could you
itself
imagine?
out. All right. Well, this has been fun, Matt. Thanks for coming on.
yeah,
You're welcome
thank you
on.
guys.
Shout out some
Anytime.
socials so our 4 followers can
Yeah, I was gonna say, let them
Can
know where they
get
can
you.
find you.
What sucks is like for some reason somebody has Matt on like Instagram, all of
No
this
shot.
and
That's
and
crazy.
Twitter, which is so annoying. But
That's crazy.
yeah, just my TikTok really or YouTube. My TikTok is at Yap YAP and then .Matt, and then my YouTube is Yap Matt but with no dot.
Okay.
So kind of
Okay.
confusing. Probably need to
Yeah, if
change
you wanna
those so they're more
send those
accurate.
over to us. We can link them in the descriptions. Right, Luke?
That'd be
You
awesome.
can do that?
Cool.
Do you have a link tree?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just
I
Send that
do,
over and we'll
yes.
put that in there.
Cool.
I
We'll
do.
throw Matt's link tree in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. It's been
Yeah,
a lot of fun
100%.
talking ball. Tanner, tell Tanner I said he was soft.
Well, you look,
Very
you look at the
soft
camera right
move.
now and tell me soft.
You're soft, Tanner.
Oh man, but we'll have you on again. This has been a lot of fun, and
Yeah, it has been for sure.
For sure. Yeah, maybe we'll have you on for like a playoff preview or something.
Yeah, that would be cool.
or
Cool.
if the Steelers
All
Ravens
right.
game will
Sounds
be
good.
a chance for the division. Yeah,
Yeah, if the Ravens win, I'll
Yeah.
hop back on the next week. So
Yeah, we'll work it out. Hey, and we have to watch a game in VR
Yes.
or a
Yes.
movie or
Can
something.
we
We gotta
record
do
that?
something. We gotta show
I
you the
really
ropes.
want to do it
Okay.
because my
I'll text you
girlfriend
about it.
bought my VR and she's so
Mhm.
mad that I don't
That
use
you
it.
don't use
She
it.
is
Which
really
which
mad.
model is it?
Quest 2,
Yeah.
I think.
That's fine.
I-
Yeah, that'll work.
Charles
That's the
uses
one Caleb uses.
It-
So
Not the one where you have pass through, like the
Yes.
nice one. It's
well,
the
you
one
have
before
it with
that.
Quest 2, but it's like
It's
super
really
blurry
bad.
and gray.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I don't even know how
Yeah.
they do that without. I guess there's cameras on the front. I don't
Matt,
know.
Yeah,
Weird.
NFL
they're not
Pro
good
Era.
Oh, I've
It's a
played
lot of
that.
fun.
I
It's-
did
it's
play
fun.
that.
Yeah.
I want to get a
Yeah,
golf,
Golf
game on
Plus.
there. I'd love to play
Golf
golf.
Plus. Golf Plus the best one.
Well,
But
I'll
I
get the
need to
links.
buy like one of those things for like the
Yep.
so you can hold
You can
the
get them,
club.
hey, full circle. Where we start, you can get them on Temu.
I am
And
not.
that's the show.
It will
ladies and
never show up.
No, I've gotten everything.
It
I've ordered,
will,
I've
bro.
gotten.
I order so much stuff off Temu. I want to keep talking about them until they sponsor us.
Timu, come on the show.
Just email them. Say we're like the only podcast in the world that will promote you. Will you guys take it or leave it?
There was a day we did an episode and we were talking about Temu, and we both accidentally were almost wearing entire Temu outfits.
That is so weird. Yeah, is the clothes good?
No. Unless they want to
Yeah,
sponsor
they're
us,
best-
then yes, they're great.
Then yes, their
Those
clothes
clothes,
are awesome.
their clothes
No,
are
they're
great.
cut small, and the print is not. The quality's not great. I got a Creed shirt from there. I got a I Think You Should Leave shirt from there. The print was not good on
I will
either
say
one.
that
But I've gotten some shorts and pants from there. that aren't bad.
the shirts that I have bought have never shattered.
Never
Yeah,
shattered.
they've never shattered. So they're break proof.
Well, that's yeah. I
Yeah,
hope
that-
so.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
I'm just trying
think
to hype them up. They don't shatter. Their clothes don't shatter.
One good thing about
Okay,
them.
yeah. I thought I was missing something, but I mean that
No,
is
they don't
true.
shatter.
They haven't
Yeah,
shattered.
Facts are facts.
Sounds
mean-
durable.
Um,
All right, well that's the show. Yeah, go get something off Temu, I guess.
Cool.
All right, see you,
All
man.
right. See you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Peace.
Yeah!